the next bit of Splinter Cell news is, of course, the hugely anticipated Splinter Cell remake, which got announced. I'm trying to think when it got announced, actually. Was it last year? Maybe the year before? I think it was actually last year, but time is a vortex. I have no idea where we are in the world right now. So it was actually a really great presentation video that Ubisoft published just a few days ago, and I was really stunned that, oh my god, we're here already. It's the 20th anniversary of Splinter Cell. This game, so I don't know about Sarah's history with the game, so we'll get to that in a minute. But I know Jamie, you're a big fan of Splinter Cell as well, right? I was a huge fan of the original Splinter Cell. This was a moment, a change up in the industry that really showed the power of games, introduced new tech like dynamic lighting. It was huge, and most importantly, this was Xbox's answer to Metal Gear Solid at the time. The original Splinter Cell didn't come out on PlayStation. It only came out on Xbox, and this was their exclusive. It's like, okay, Sony, you've got Kojima, you've got Snake, you've got that crazy franchise over there, which is selling in the millions. It's highly revered. It's a spy series, but it's Hollywood tropes and things like that and weirdness going on. We want our own version. We've got Ubisoft here creating this new icon of a character in Sam Fisher with the three green goggle lights and things like that. And for me, this is why I think I never really got into Metal Gear Solid, because I never had a PlayStation way back then. I had an Xbox, and I wanted I guess an equivalent spy series, and then Splinter Cell came out, and then I was all in on Splinter Cell, and it felt grittier, it felt more grounded, more believable. And the fact that I had dynamic lighting, you could shoot out the lights, you could just snap necks and things like that, and it felt like it had a fully 3D camera and everything. The environments were just epic. I remember breaking into the CIA for one level. I thought, this is fucking immense, absolutely immense, and I adore Splinter Cell series, and I'm desperate to see what this remake can give us. But Jamie, tell us about your passion for Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell.
I played the first one. I think I played most of them up to the last couple entries in the series, where I'd sort of fallen off, not because of the games, it just seemed to always come about when I wasn't playing the console, I was on the PC or something like that. So love this franchise. They've ruined me for games, actually, because the dynamic lighting has spoiled me for games. Because if I go into a game and I can't shoot out the lights, I'm like, what the fuck's that?
I know.
Right?
Totally.
Especially when it's a stealth game and you can't do it now. Because I'm like, hey, we've been doing this for years, guys. That's a thing. But that was when I would creep in and I'd shoot out the light. What the? And you got the guard sort of looking around, and then you come up behind him. I grew up on the Timothy Dalton era Bond. I quite like the idea of snapping someone's neck in the pitch black in fiction.
Fiction,
disclaimer, in fiction. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Any moment that makes you feel like a badass in a game, that's what I want out of gaming. And this game did it in spades. It's so good. And as the series progressed as well, the directional mic, I remember the level on, I can't remember which one it was, but one of them where you're on a train, you have to slide the door open just a little because you've got your directional mic, but it won't take two sheets for that. And the time I spent outside it, pointing that at a window, going, I'm fucking do it, and then realising there was a glass partition in there, and having to go like that and point it through and sit there like, they're going to see me, this is it, this is how I die, this is it, I know it's going to... tense moments, and just amazing gameplay, great stories, and Fisher, just an iconic character. And yeah, I am with the radio play, like you said, I'm a little sad it's not Michael Ironside, because by God, that is definitely a case where it's a voice that has attached itself to a character, and that is part of the whole franchise. So yeah, I have a huge love for this game series, and I will absolutely be playing the remake.
Yeah, there was so many firsts in that game. That very first one, like the little snake cam, like the dynamic lighting, shooting things out, like looking under doors, and you could. I'm trying to remember, was it Pandora Tomorrow or the first one where they introduced being able to just edge out the door. You didn't just open the door and it was a full swing, because up until that point, whenever any character opened the door, it was a full open. I think it was maybe Pandora Tomorrow that said, actually, I just want to just like edge it open just a little. I just want to peek through the door rather than fully swing the door open. I thought, man, this is so clever and it's so cool, and I do feel like a ninja. And of course, Chaos Theory is still regarded as the best in the series, but things like Double Agent and Conviction went off in different directions and added new features. I know a contentious point is the mark and execute, but I really liked it because it made you feel like John Wick. When if you had to get a stealth kill to then recharge your mark and execute meter, so you couldn't really abuse it as such. But once you leveled it up, you could mark and execute like 4 people, so you could just storm into a room, have them already prepped, kind of thing, to mark and execute, and then just go bang, 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 and you're just like, yeah, I am special forces. Of course I can do that. Of course. And it was just, I mean, whether they bring back mark and execute for this remake, that's interesting, and I don't know if they will, because that'd be such a departure for the gameplay of the first game. But it is building it from the ground up to make full use of modern technology, modern advances, and they mentioned like things like ray tracing, and obviously they're going to be drastically improving the AI, because the AI back then was never very good. It was a bit
that was a bag of bricks, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So it's really exciting to see what they can actually do, and I don't know whether mark and execute is used or not. I don't really know, and to be honest, I don't really care. If I really want mark and execute, I'll go back and play Conviction or finally play Blacklist for the very first time and lament the loss of Sam Fisher not being in it. Michael Ironside, I should say, not Sam Fisher. But it's exciting because it's a long way away. Unfortunately, it was just showing concept art, but the thought of what they can do with the Unreal Engine 5 modern Splinter Cell is hugely exciting, and I hope they go in the direction of, this is what Hitman were doing, this is what we should have done all these years, but to grow the franchise, make these ginormous sandboxes where you can approach it any way you want, and that's our core structure for a new Splinter Cell. I've been saying that for years. I think, and Ubisoft are saying we don't know what to do with the new Splinter Cell. Guys, just look at what IO Interactive are doing with Hitman. Ginormous sandboxes. You have a target, or you have data to steal, or whatever your objective is, but go and approach it any way you want, and there's multiple opportunities for you to do that. And I hope they take those learnings from the Hitman series and make just this incredible Splinter Cell sandbox type of game. Anyway, Sarah, sorry, I've been talking way too much. I haven't been giving you a chance to give your thoughts.
It's all good. It's all good. We all love to hear your voice. I'm super excited for this, but my experience with Splinter Cell as a franchise is very minimal. I remember playing. I'm certain I played the very very first game, but it was 20 years ago, as we officially know. I don't remember too much from it except feeling like a total badass while I was playing it, which is exactly what we want, right? What I really loved was in the video where they're talking about this remake that they're doing, is how passionate you can see that these devs are, and how much it feels like they want to honor the original content to the point where they just want to bring it into the ability what we can produce these days. So they want to give us that old game, give us that nostalgia, but give us a nice, clean, slick, smart game, while still accessing the reason why we love it in the first place. So that I'm so excited about. I was more PlayStation when I was growing up, so Metal Gear Solid was my jam. But yeah, I'm sure that I played the first one, because I remember the shooting out of the lights and the sneaking around in the dark and the really loud night vision goggles. It's gonna be great, isn't it? I have a feeling it's gonna be really good. And watching devs be excited like that is what makes me want to play the game. And there was one specific moment in that video where I can't remember the name of the guy who said it, but he was like, we aren't going to rush this. We're not going to release something that we're not 100% confident is something that the people are going to love and want to play. And that's exciting as well.
Yeah.
It sucks that we'll have to wait quite a while, but it's nice to know that they are going to put everything into it, and it sounds like it's going to be incredible. So yeah, couple of
Yeah.
years, maybe, I guess.
I'd say at least. I think if they're still just sharing concept art and nothing else, then I think it's maybe like 2 to 3 years away, probably at least. I think you're right. The team that they've obviously got together to do this little presentation, of course, the wider team that are obviously off camera working away, clearly understand they cannot get this wrong, because it was such like way back in the 2000s of the original Xbox platform. Splinter Cell was one of the pillars, the building pillars of Ubisoft. It was Splinter Cell. Remember, they had Beyond Good and Evil. I lament that we still don't have a sequel to that, but never mind, that's another conversation entirely. And we had Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. Those games all came out in that original era of Xbox, and they were genre-defining games. They changed the game entirely. They changed the industry entirely. So the fact that we're getting such a great team that are so passionate to get this right and are actually sharing early stuff with the direction of the game, the concept art stuff, with the look and the vibe and everything that they want to go with for modern tech and everything. Hugely, hugely exciting, but I think there's a lot of eyes on it to say, yeah, but what are you doing with my Splinter Cell? Don't you deviate too far, because we're watching you. And I'm just hugely excited to see what they can do, because even if they go in maybe like a radical new direction with a lot of the gameplay systems, I'm still open to that, because it's a new, finally, it's going to feel like a new Splinter Cell game. It's going to feel like an entirely new game. And that's exactly what it should do. It should, have reverence for the original, but also take it in new directions as well. It doesn't have to be a one-to-one remake. It can be a one-to-one remake, because everything is so advanced now that I just want to see Sam Fisher do a split jump in Unreal Engine 4 up into the shadows, when he's just like in this doing the Jean-Claude Van Damme splits, like above an enemy sort of thing. I want to see that in an Unreal Engine 5. That's really all I want.
What Sarah was saying about the enthusiasm from the devs. That's what you. I know. I've had a pop at the money machine behind gaming once or twice over the years. So, but it's there, and without the money, we don't get the game. So I'm not really complaining.
Yep.
It's just there's a responsibility, etc. But the devs behind these things, they make games because they want to make games. Like, I honestly don't believe there's a software, a gaming developer in the world that goes into it because they just want to earn a living. It's a passion. It's not, it's a passionate career. It's not a job that you just do. And so that's why I always like seeing videos where they talk to the devs about it, because when you get the representative from marketing or something, I'm not saying they're not great at their job and fantastic, but they maybe don't have the same love for the franchise in the same way. Which is fine. But when you see the devs talking about it, like, this is 20 years on, there's devs on that team who probably cut their teeth playing the first damn game, and that's what made them want to get into, I remember talking to Derek Kurtzik from NetherRealm once at Eurogamer about Mortal Kombat, and the reason he was so stoked to be working on it is because one of his first games that he experienced was Mortal Kombat 2, and he's like, now he's working for the company.
Yeah.
So things like that, it's great. So, and it's just such an awesome franchise to see coming back. Fucking give me all the Splinter Cell. Although, don't tell me, Ubisoft, you don't know what to do with Splinter Cell, because guess what? You did it. It's called Assassin's Creed. There's parallels there. Just make one of your big open worlds.
Well, it's the same with Prince of Persia. I really want Prince of Persia to come back, but I don't want it to be an Assassin's Creed. I want it to be Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia was all about the parkour, but running and manipulating the environment and somersaulting over these impossible traps and things like that. And that's the sandbox for Prince of Persia. I don't want it to be like an Assassin's Creed. Like, keep Assassin's Creed doing its thing, or go back to its roots, whatever. But I still badly want a classic Prince of Persia. You know what? There's a Prince of Persia game which got forgotten about, and it never gets any reverence, and it's The Forgotten Sands. And it's because it came out at the same time as the movie, and therefore the prince, the character, looks a little bit like Jake Gyllenhaal, because it was a bit of a tie-in. But that game is fucking phenomenal. It is fantastic, and it looks really sharp because it was a bit more modern in that Sands of Time, Warrior Within, two princes or two thrones, I think it was the third one. It's in that vein, and it still plays fantastically, and it's classic pop kind of thing, and that's another one I'd love to see come back as well. But going back to Splinter Cell, I can see this project as a two-pronged kind of win for Ubisoft, because they said that they don't necessarily know what to really do with a new Splinter Cell. This gives them the opportunity to reimagine, reinvent the first game under the Remake moniker, but also get to grips with, okay, we're now making a new game, but it's not a new game. It's still familiar, and we don't have to be maybe as creatively taxed or head scratching as to what to do with it and the expectation of a brand new game, whereas we're just going to be remaking and reimagining the first game, and that will give us lessons and learnings to then say, okay, now we've got an understanding of grounding to make a fully new game, whether it's a sequel, whether it's a reboot or whatever, going forward with the new technology and the new understandings of AI and things like that, and what the fans' expectations are for a brand new game. So this gives them a bit of a springboard to keep the franchise moving forward, and I really appreciate that. And of course, a lot of these remake things are, I say it glibly, like an easy win, but it's not easy at all. But it gives investment. It gives that stopgap investment to a studio before the next big game and the next big entry comes out. It's the same with, you can balk at The Last of Us Part 1, but you know what? That gives Naughty Dog a major cushion to work on their next big IP, because they're probably still working that out. They've got hundreds of developers that they need to pay for and keep employed, but get them on a remake project, and that gives them the opportunity to learn the PlayStation 5 hardware and also deliver a project which is going to keep the studio solvent for the next big thing. And that's why I always hate seeing the audience getting super toxic about, another remake. Yeah, but think of the business side of it. It gives the studio the opportunity to do this fairly straightforward, although it's never straightforward, project, whilst they need that interim cash flow of something before the next big thing comes out. And that's why I'll always kind of look to support remaster projects. And I'm hoping this is going to be phenomenal, because it seems like it's going to be, well, brand new. Everything's brand new. It's like the Dead Space. It's like the RE4, RE2 kind of stuff. It's like totally new audience that are going to get to consume it. And the old grumpy, craggy audience like myself and Jamie, we get to relive our 20 years ago. Not even childhood, because we were in our 20s then. That's how old we are. So I don't even get to say recapturing our childhood. 18? Wow, okay. Yeah, but you're like but an 18-year-old Jamie is like dog years, so you were really in your 50s back then, mate. Come on.
I'll give you that. I mean,
brutal.
18 technically. 18 by the birth certificate, but I'm not entirely sure it's accurate.
Yeah, think of it like rings on a tree or something like that. Jamie's old and wise beyond his years, even though the shell is only 18 years old. No.
Oh,
this is the host body.
The host body, exactly. You're an entity that just transfers from shell to shell. Is that what it is?
It's in my Twitter bio. Non-corporeal malevolent entity.
There you go.
I've never hidden it. No one ever believed.
Okay. Shall we? Anything else to say from either of you on this, or shall we move on to the next topic?
Let's move on.
Keep it rolling.